church girl, grew up in church and ticked all the right boxes. It was religion, not relationship, till she had an encounter that affected her life and set her on fire.
It's nice to have you on the show.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming. You've always been singing and dancing and very active since what, about 6?
Yeah.
Yes. Tell us about that. Very active child.
Wow. Yeah, very active child. If I think about, I was walking from like 7 months.
Oh.
Yeah, and everyone was like, "What is going on?" And my mum was just like, "She's just doing herself." I've always been really into singing, into acting, into dancing. Been singing in the church choir since I was like 11.
Okay.
Used to make dance groups and dance routines and everything. And it was just a part of who I am. It's still part of me, but just very different to how it was before. But
how's it different?
So I think just growing up, I always wanted to be like, celebrity, just like, as in like, I just wanted to be that kind of star. And naturally, I think because I always was put in leadership positions and forefront, and just naturally they'd be like, yeah, let her lead. So it was very different. It was very, I would probably say it was self-glory. I don't know, it was just about me, really. I didn't really think about anything else. I just wanted to enjoy myself. Obviously, until like my walk with God changed, and just how my life changed completely, and how now it's more about me living for him. And so even these gifts that he's given to me is more of utilizing it for him, which is very, very different to like how it was before. So
what changed that for you? What changed it to be, about me being out there, me, doing all that and all that, I'm off like, what changed that?
It has to be God. I think God literally changed it. I mean, I've always grown up from a Christian home. My parents are like deacons from church. Like we've grown up in the church, and I've been singing in the church, but and I've always had faith. I've always, I always believe, if you believe that something's going to happen, it's going to happen. But when it came to real walking, sold out for God, follower of Jesus Christ, having the Spirit of God in you and being led by him, that's a completely different situation. And so it wasn't until I went on a missionary trip with my friend who invited me on this missionary trip, and we were preparing, and I just remember I went on this missionary trip. And
was it a proper missionary trip? Where did you go to?
Yeah, so we went to Tenerife.
Okay.
I know that sounds a bit like, whoa, missionary trip in Tenerife. Yeah, I know. It's kind of like, it's really weird. When he said we're going to Tenerife, I was like, isn't that like a party place?
Exactly.
And he's like, yeah, that's the point. We're going to reach out to that. I was thinking, oh, okay. But so he literally it was a uni friend, and he messaged all of us, like, he wants to go on this missionary trip. And I was thinking, yeah, whatever, let's go. Like, that sounds good. And then he was like, yeah, we're going to be studying the Bible every week to prepare. And I was thinking, yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
And then that's when, we started going to these topics about, living for God looks like this. And I started realizing, oh, okay, I'm doing it.
So what have I been doing before?
Yeah, I've pretty much been doing everything probably contrary, just living in the world in uni life. And so it wasn't until he mentioned that, and we prepared, and then we went out there. We actually went to strip clubs and actually spoke to some of these young people that were in these strip clubs about young women, refugees, and understanding their life, and then speaking to them about the love of Jesus Christ and how God wants to transform them and how God transformed us. And
so for me, that's really interesting, Danielle. It's not always about going to Africa and India and all those places that, people, we all just think, because there are people in Tenerife, like you said, you have to say Tenerife with partying, cobbling, enjoying yourself, going on holiday. But there is a need. No, there is a need. To share the gospel in places like that too. Oh, there is such a need. And we were able to partner with a local church out there, and they were able to they're like a big part of the community. So through them, we were able to meet young people, meet older people, and just connect to them about the love of Christ and what he's done through us as a testimony, and then in hopes that will sow seeds, and it's important to understand that even when we go out and we evangelize or we minister, it's not that we're gonna save them, and sometimes you kind of have that in your head, souls, and it's like, no, God does the saving, mate. You're just planting the seed. It might be someone else's time to go and water, and 2 years later might be the birth of that, and you might not actually see the seeds that you've sown, but you're going led by the Spirit to trust that he will move. And so I feel like I definitely saw that out there. So by God's grace, the seeds that's been planted. Yes, and for me that's important, because at times you might get a bit weary and disappointed because you go on those kind of missions, and like you said, it's some people might say, oh yes, I accept what you're coming with there and then, but some people might be like, what are they talking about? And you might get weary, especially if you're doing that and you're not seeing immediate results. But that does not mean that the seeds have not been planted and there would eventually be watering and germination. There was a time we'll come back to the missionary, there was a time you had a game show. You attended a game show. We got to talk about that.
Yeah, so I went on a game show. So anyways, so I was in uni. So I was part of the African Caribbean Society. So I was like the vice president, and then my really good friend was like the president. So we were like, we're gonna go on the big clash. It's this big game show. They get all these universities games, and then they go against each other. So we went to University of Manchester. So we were like, so we got our team, we did our auditions, we went on this game show. So when we went on this game show, there's like games that you play, singing, and all of that stuff. So that's actually how my husband now saw me through the game show, and he was also on the game show.
Was it love at first sight?
Not for me. Not for me.
You don't want to speak for him.
No, I don't want to speak for him. But so he saw me on the game show, and then reached out to me through Twitter and was like, oh, I saw you on the game show. Like, I play piano, you sing, let's collab. And I was like, who are you? But it turns out that he was actually mutual friends with my really, really good friend Michael from uni, who actually got me on the mission trip. So I was able to be like, oh, who's this guy? He wants to do one collab. He was like, yeah, that guy's amazing, man. He's great, good guy, pastor's son. Don't worry, go do the collab. He's safe. So I was thinking, okay, fine.
Let's do that.
And then we're here today.
Excellent. It said something to you. Was it the first time you went out, or it said something about, husband, and was it when you had a conversation?
Okay, so this one I have to explain before people start thinking that I'm one of those people that be saying, this is my husband. No. It wasn't that kind of party. But so he wanted to collab. So he was like, oh, let's FaceTime so we can discuss about songs and whatnot. I was like, oh, that's really good actually, because FaceTime, it's like you're meeting the person. So we spoke on FaceTime. It was meant to be like a really quick conversation. Ended up being like 4 hours. We didn't even talk once about this collab. Like it was just, it was such a unique experience. Like one I've never been in before. We were just very open and vulnerable with one another. More from him, which is not normal for a guy. Guys don't open up. Guys don't really talk much. But it was just very surreal. And I remember speaking to him and being like, oh, that was like an amazing chat, like literally from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. And I remember closing the chat and going downstairs to my friends and being like, I've met my husband. And they were all like, what? And they were more like, what? Because I'm not the type of person
they know you.
to ever say I've met my husband. I was enjoying baby girl life at 18, 19 in uni. No one's trying to find any husband then. I was just enjoying my life. But I knew that was I was like, yeah, that's my husband. And I said it with such a straight face that they were looking at me like, really? I was like, yeah. And they're like, how do you know? I was like, I just know. It's so weird. I just know. Like, I just know. I've just met him. He's great. And it was just like, it was literally like that. It was literally like, he's great. Anyways, what are we eating? Like, I wasn't even dwelling on it.
And you just went to... Well, those words came back to...
Those words came back to haunt me. Those words came back to haunt me because it's almost like I said it. It was almost like my spirit said it, but Danielle didn't say it. So what happened was later, it was almost like I remembered saying it, but then when I'd be talking to him, I'm like, this guy does not even... I don't like him in that way. Like... I was like, no, he's getting a bit annoying. I was like, no, I don't even see him in that way. He's definitely not my husband. And it was just like, no. And I remember, speaking to him like as a friend, genuinely caring about him as a person. And I remember even one time being like, oh, you need to listen more. You need to listen more to what I'm saying. And normally he's the type of person that would be like, who are you to tell me you need to listen more?
Exactly.
But he said that he literally felt something close his mouth at that moment to just listen to what was being said.
Rather than actually talk about why you saying all that.
And for some reason I said that, and what was so amazing was that we were just friends. We were literally like best friends, and I didn't see him as a husband. Even though I said it from the moment I said it, I didn't see him in that way. But it wasn't until much later that God kind of really opened my eyes and really reminded me of what he had said. And it was just amazing. And so,
Going back to when you came back from missionary.
Yes.
So what happened to you?
Oh, yeah. So
the firebrand.
Yeah. So I remember going on this missionary trip. The funny thing was, I was actually going on this missionary trip just before I'd done the finals of the Big Clash.
Right.
So I was on the Big Clash. I did like the first round and second round.
This is the show, isn't it?
The show, the game show.
Yeah.
But it was just before the final. So I remember coming back and being like, oh my gosh, I can't live the same way I lived. Like, I remember being like, okay, I'm gonna have to write a message on my group chat. I was like, on my girl group chat and be like, guys, I love you, but we can't do the same thing we used to do. Like, I can't be chilling with you in that way. It wasn't gonna be like, I'm gonna cut you. It was just like, I just want you to know that I'm taking my walk with God seriously. And just before I pressed send, one of my friends, who's like literally my best friend, she messaged me saying, hey, I see what God's doing, just don't leave me. Wow. And I was like, before I've even pressed send on the girl group chat, it's like God was just doing a work through all of us. And I remember coming back, and I have a lot of pastors' sons as friends. I know loads of PKs. I know loads of PKs that are females and males, and I just know loads of children from the church.
Audience, what are PKs?
PKs are pastors' kids. So they're like, it's like an acronym, I guess, for pastors' kids. And I know loads of like just young people that grown up in the church. And all of us were doing rubbish in uni. Like, we would just be, just doing rubbish, like just partying, clubbing, drinking, like, you know, just indulging in things that doesn't glorify God. And it was just like, it is what it is. And I remember coming back from the missionary trip and being like, well, how are we going to reach out to them? Because they've gone to church every Sunday. I was like, they've gone to church every Sunday. So I'm not going to tell my friends to come to church with me on Sunday, because they've been going to church on Sunday, the same that I've been going, and we'll be clubbing the next day. I remember, like, even we'll go clubbing till like 4 a.m. and then we'll be so proud of ourselves that we made it to church at 8 a.m. and we're like, come on, we're good Christians. Exactly. I was like, we're good Christians.
That makes it right.
Yeah. So I was just like, there's no way that I'm even gonna. I was like, there has to be something else. And I just remember
there was something else. We're going to take a break, Danielle, and we're going to come back. It's been exciting talking to you. Stay tuned. I'm sure you want to hear more.